HBO's Run, which is going to be on Sky Comedy on Tuesday. This is a 7-part comedy drama, half an hour apiece, created by Fleabag co-creator Vicky Jones, stars Merritt, Wever and Domnhall Gleason as two friends from college. It starts with Merritt Weaver's character Ruby getting a text on her phone that just simply says run. She drops everything in her life to get on a train in New York to meet up with Domnhall Gleason's Billy, who we find out is a successful author, self-help
life coach, isn't he? I think he describes
life coach. But we don't know a lot about them. We don't know who they are. We don't know what their lives were like before this text.
Crucially, though, she texts back, doesn't she? That's the
vocal about how much I enjoyed this on Twitter. It's one of the things that when it was announced last year I was really keen on, basically because Merritt Wever, I think I could watch her read the phone book. She's just got such a warmth to her that whatever she does, even if she was a serial killer, I'd be completely 100% in with her and on the journey. I've seen the first episode. We got 5 to watch of the 7 completely. This, I have no idea where it's going to go. I have no idea what the story is going forward. I know that Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Archie Punjabi play big roles in it as it progresses. But this first one is them on a train, working out whether they've done the right thing of meeting up again. They were college sweethearts or best friends years previously. Neither one knows much about how the other's doing or why they texted the word run. But it's been a long-going agreement that they've had that if one of them does it, they drop everything and come to their aid.
Well, no. It's if one of them does it and the other one texts back.
Okay, so the implication is they're both unhappy with their lives and needing to escape for various reasons. And considering it's quite a static episode when they're on the train, it moves at a heck of a pace. I like the fact that I don't entirely know where we're going or who these people are. And although it's not laugh out loud funny, I did smile at bits, and I do think they have incredible chemistry. Domhnall Gleeson and Merritt Wever, I'm really on board for this.
Because sometimes you're like, I don't feel like I knew the characters and I don't feel like they established where it was going, but you liked it this time.
I liked it in this because of the
Why?
air of mystery and because they have really believable chemistry.
You got enough from those characters, though, because that's your big thing.
Yes,
I didn't buy into the characters. So what did you like about those characters in that first episode?
I just liked the fact that they were warm. I just believed them as a pair.
Okay.
Natural as a pair. Yeah, I'm guessing you didn't.
I don't know. I didn't dislike this, but I maybe because you were bigging up that I was expecting maybe a little bit more, and I think it took a while to get to the point that these two were, because initially it was just Merritt Wever, who I'm in agreement with you, I absolutely love. By the time they're together, you get the sense that this is them absconding, but obviously there's the baggage that both have got. He's a successful author, dispensing advice to others, but someone who himself hasn't got that life that others get from his teachings. You're right, you don't know a lot about her until the end when you find out that she has got a husband and 2 children that he finds as the wallpaper on her phone.
It was just very conversational, and I like that in the drama. I like 2 people having chats. I've always liked that. It harks back to my affection for the royal family. Nothing happens in it. It's just people having chats that you would have had, and I just like that.
I'm definitely going to continue. As you say, there was enough intrigue, but the scene where he thinks she's not getting back on the train,
I really enjoyed that,
and breaks the handle of the toilet door, was enough for me to bring me back to that second episode. It's a unique premise and one that certainly has got legs to it, and I'll be interested to see what happens once they're off the train. And
as I say, Archie Punjabi is going to play a key role later on. It's not got a big cast, but she is like the big guest star. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge might pop up for a scene at some point. But yeah, I just think those 2 I cared about, and I like the conversational nature. I thought it was funny without being, too funny, and I was actually quite desperate that she got back on the train, and when she did, it was like a relief. And I thought everything played out at a good pace, and the half hour went by quickly, and it's further proof the half hours can be just
I
as
agree
engrossing.
with that, actually. The half hour did fly by.
I wholeheartedly recommend Matt's on the fence, but there's no, like he says, hopefully people will feel like you, that if they weren't as bowled over as me, that there'll be enough in there.
And they're only half hours, which helps.
And it just feels like something a bit different and good escapist TV. Merritt Wever and Domhnall Gleason together in Vicky Jones's half-hour comedy drama thriller hybrid called Run. This couple, who haven't seen each other since college, have had a pact that if one of them texts the word run and the other texts back the word run, then they would meet up at New York's Grand Central Station and go on a train journey across the country to sort of reconnect and escape their lives. Neither one of them knows what the other has left behind. Neither one of them knows why the other one has texted run. But if they agree, then that's the pact, and they go on the journey. And I think I've always liked Merritt Wever. I just think she's amazing, and I think she was amazing throughout. Domhnall Gleason I have less of an opinion on, but I did think they had a believable chemistry, and I think the show would fall down if they didn't have.
Where we'd left it initially was, I think you were more taken with the chemistry than I was.
Yeah.
You described it as a charming relationship. I don't think I bought into the chemistry as much as you did. I struggled with Domhnall Gleason's character because I found him like a self-loathing character. I think when it got to episode 3, they got to New York. They introduced Archie Panjabi as his assistant. I think at that point they revealed that the reason he texted Run was that it was almost an idea for a new book for him because he's a life coach, and this would be what happened when
it was a way of resurrecting his career
because
he embarrassed himself.
Yeah, he's insulted a member of his audience, and I think when they introduced a bit more stakes, an element that would disrupt this relationship, and she's got a family, a husband and 2 children, that there was more peril, a few more stakes to it, and I think I enjoyed that more. I mean, do we want to talk about how it ended, or
yes,
I suppose we've got
if you plan on seeing Run.
So from now, switch off and go and have a biscuit.
All you'll miss is us saying follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. In fact, go and do that now, and you won't miss anything. So that is the end of the podcast for you if you don't want to know how Run ends.
Archie Panjabi tries to steal the money that Domhnall Gleason's character Billy has. They jump off the train to go after her. Now, where is this? Is this the middle of like California somewhere?
Because it's all
California. Yeah, because it all felt like Alaska.
Yeah, it felt very wildernessy.
And Phoebe Waller-Bridge plays Laurel, who is a woman who is just a woman who gives them a lift after they have accidentally killed Archie Panjabi's character Fiona. She's impaled on a spike in a house that they feel is abandoned. Phoebe Waller-Bridge then gives them a lift back to the station, but then they have to go back because they have left her mobile phone. So it's all very contrived, and in the midst.
But I know that didn't work for you.
Yeah.
But
Go on.
That did work for me.
Yeah.
It was everything after that.
Okay,
that
so
work for me.
do you want to go from there then? What happens next?
So they go back to fetch the phone, and they see. So they see that weird bloke in the house, or they see Phoebe Waller-Bridge turning up with their macaroni and cheese because she delivers it to the guy every week for some reason. 2 coppers who feel like something out of Fargo but not as cleverly written turn up.
The female cop reminded me of the social worker in Hunt for the Wilder People.
And Babe Cloud, she's called. So she turns up and investigates who has led to Archie Panjabi's demise, how she's ended up there. She goes to speak to Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Laurel, and they end up on this weird sort of journey to go to California when they overhear a voicemail. It just, none of that felt like the same show. I was watching it going, how did we get to this point? How is this the same show that I liked at the beginning with two people having believable chats on a train.
We initially had preview copies up to 5,
Yeah.
so I watched 5 in quite quick succession. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is only briefly in that scene where she's giving them a lift back to the station, and then in these last 2 episodes, she's a central figure. She has a romance with this Babe Clown.
Out of nowhere.
The 6th episode is very much them chasing them around, them almost catching them, and then them ending back up on the train.
Which Babe Cloud gets on no problem in exactly the right place.
They feel like they will have got away with it because the train staff in their carriage the entire time. And so it ends with Babe trying to track them down, them getting off the train, and the final scene is
them sort of reunited. Merritt Weaver's reunited with their family, and is torn slightly between her relationship with the family she left behind and the new one she's forged with Billy, but she walks off into the distance with her family, and that is it.
He says, "Please say something that this meant something to you," and she doesn't say anything and just leaves with her family. I think it played into the suspicions I had initially. I really never bought into that chemistry. You know, I love Merritt Wever, and from Nurse Jackie, I watched that from the beginning. So I've known, about 10 years now as an actress that I've been very fond of. We loved her last year in Unbelievable. And this, I think her awkwardness was very believable. Domhnall Gleason, I didn't like the character. I don't like these self-loathing, very wealthy characters who are going through a what does it all mean
personal
crisis of I think the added layer that this was him trying to revive his career was interesting, and then it meant more to me than that, like the what I've heard described as the she's all that moment when she learns it's all just a bet that Ruby learns.
To a degree, you must have bought into it slightly, because that must have been the only thing keeping you because Merritt Wever was really good.
Yeah, but... I think the Merritt Wever character, as I say, when there was stakes to it, if they'd been longer episodes, I think I may have given up on it. I think it helped that they were around half an hour each. I
like the episode lengths, but I think this is one of those rare things where you needed maybe 3 more episodes, because a lot of that was just tacked on. I mean, who was Babe Cloud? Where did she come from?
It's not something I'm going to particularly remember, if I'm honest.
I know, what a shame. I was thinking that.
And I think a lot of the things that I didn't like, the dialogue, the sexualized dialogue, the overly ponderingness of it. I know that's not a word.
I like it. We should
reminded me of what I didn't like about Fleabag, and I haven't gone back to that second series, which I know a lot of people have praised. But that's what put me off that, and a lot of the Phoebe Waller-Bridge stuff, the middle class navel gazingness of it, is the stuff I really don't like. I mean, I loved Killing Eve. I think she's one like Greta Gerwig as well, is someone who I think works better beyond the camera. And I think if Merritt Wever hadn't been there, I would have given up. And actually, Archie Panjabi, I really liked her performance as well as the antagonist of the piece. The female characters were a lot, and I know Domhnall Gleason was the only male character in this. Really, those 2 female characters were a lot stronger. But then, as you say, it went into Fargo. As you said, it did go. Those last 2 episodes, those characters, wherever they were in rural California somewhere, were very much Fargo-esque characters.
You've not really stuck with the 3 seasons.
But even the movie, it's sort of bumbling bumpkin characters with heart.
But I like that. I don't like it when they come out of the blue and they feel like they're in. I can watch it within Fargo because that's Fargo land.
2 different shows, as you say, sort of meshed together.
This was what we call a cut and shut, where the first half doesn't meet with the second half. As soon as she died, as soon as Archie Panjabi died, I went, this is probably going to go places I don't like, because everything seems to need to have this mystery element now to keep people hooked. And if you've got good actors and believable chemistry, whether we agree on that or whether we don't, then you don't need somebody to die and them to be racing from the law. And I mean, does this have any keeping up with the train theme? Does this have any steam in it for a second series? It didn't seem to be setting one up. Where could it?
I think it's one where you could follow them separately. Domhnall Gleason coming out of prison, because you got the impression that he is going to be arrested for the death of Fiona. Maybe it's more him coming to her after he's released from prison. But I think what we gravitated towards initially was this train element of it. It
The
had elements
energy of it, the movement
Before
of it.
Sunset, Before Sunrise, those films I know you haven't seen, but that where people meet on a train, and then this heightened thriller aspect of it. But it fell apart in those last. Anything that I did like about it, as soon as they jumped off the train, completely changed.
Shame. I can't remember the last time that I felt so much promise in the first half of a show, and then the second half just completely gets rid of all that. Very odd. Run is available now on Now TV and is there on Sky Comedy as part of that. I was going to say as well, if we don't get a second series, because of the weird TV landscape we're in, we won't know if it's just been axed because it's been axed, or whether it was only intended to be a limited series, although I think that it would have said that in the promotional stuff, or whether they can't do a second because of the logistics of it. But I would be very surprised if this comes back for more. But I just hope this isn't the last time we see Merritt Wever in a leading role, because although she was kind of in a leading role in Unbelievable, this felt like her show more than his. And so I hope that we see her again.